Welcome to the Undefining Beauty podcast, a space to invite more beauty into our lives. I am Andrea Belluso, and on this podcast I will have some very special guests and friends of mine to explore what beauty could be that we have not yet considered.
Finally, here we are. Welcome, Marina, and welcome everybody to this episode of the Undefining Beauty podcast with Marina Kulpina. Kulpina or Kulpina?
Kulpina, right.
Kulpina. There you go.
Perfetto.
Perfetto. I'm still rusty on my Russian, but I'm getting there. I know a few key words.
He already told me. So
yes,
that's true.
Mm-hmm. What you learn first, when you learn a language, the most useful things.
Yes.
So this, the main topic of this podcast is Undefining Beauty, which is also the name of the class that I have. And I would like to discuss the topic of beauty with you, because when I first met you at the castle, there was so much beauty, not just of your being, of your body, of your face, all of this, but also how you choose beauty, how you receive beauty, both according to this reality and beyond. And it's something that I would really like to explore with you.
Okay, let's try.
Let's try.
Let's try.
So, when I say beauty, what shows up for you?
For me, beauty is always about the energy.
Cool.
It's not about the physical reality, but it's about their energy and, let's say, perception of the person, of him or herself. It's never about how people, let's say, judge me. And, we know that in our reality, beauty is all about the judgment. Hey, you need a face therapy, you need a wrinkle therapy, you need an anti-cellulite massage or lose weight or something. And all their beauty industry is a judgment industry.
Totally.
So I know a lot of women who, let's say,
redo everything?
Yes, they redid everything and they look perfect from the, let's say, physical thing, physical side. But there is something wrong inside. And inside there is a huge judgment. I need to fix something, I need to change something. And for me, beauty is also about the relaxation. The more person is relaxed, the more beauty is inside.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that one. I mean, we just had a conversation before we jumped on this, and we were talking about this. And thank you so much for that. I really see how it's related with what you're saying to the lack of judgment, especially the lack of self-judgment and relaxation at the same time.
And really, as far as I know, really less women is able to stay relaxed about how do they look like how is their weight or how is their face is aged, and everyone is stressed out oh my gosh, I become older, I become fatter, or I'm pregnant, oh my gosh, my body is changing. And everyone trying, not everyone, but a lot of people trying to fix their bodies, fix their faces, and it creates a lot of stress.
Yes.
And sometimes I'm looking at the person hey, just relax.
Yes. True story. True story.
Beautiful. You're beautiful.
True story.
Yeah.
And when you say that, I mean, when I see people, I have a lot of people in front of my camera, and when I see people with a lot of building constructions basically on their faces and their bodies and everything, how much I perceive a mountain of judgments about themselves. And when I have somebody in front of the camera, what I see is the beauty of the person, regardless, but also I'm very aware of all the judgments that they have about themselves.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And but I've seen you choose beauty in such a beautiful way. You spent a long time at the castle of Casal Borgone, and that was a magnificent choice. So was that also because of the relaxation?
I think first of all it was all about the relaxation.
Yeah.
As being in a castle, for me it's totally different way of being.
Yeah.
And it's not only about, again, like physical beauty, because
Yes.
castle, you know, it's physically,
Yeah.
it's very beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
It's like, it's
Yes.
gorgeous.
Yes.
You know, like every detail, every cup, every spoon,
Yeah.
every chair, like with which you're,
Yeah.
let's say, in contact, like create something in your world. And at the same time, being in a castle, it's like the territory out of the judgment.
Yeah.
And it's tricky from first sight, like everyone who can enter the castle, like, oh my gosh, I cannot touch this, I cannot touch this, like they will
Yeah.
like make me a payment, you know, like if I will broke something. And like from the other side, like total relaxation, like, hey,
Yeah.
you can be relaxed here.
Yeah.
Like you are a precious thing.
Yes.
No matter how you look like, no matter what do you think about yourself, like you are precious.
Yeah.
And when I first reached the castle, it was crazy because I was like, oh my gosh, castle is so cool and I'm so not. You know, I was judging the hell out of me like, oh my gosh, am I allowed to be here? Am I allowed?
Oh, wow.
Yes, really. It was so hard for me being there, and I was kind of, you know, like always comparing myself and the castle, and the castle always won. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe one day I will come back. And I came back, like it was first time I was in the castle, it was January 2020, and I
Right.
came back 2 years later.
Oh, wow.
Yes, in May 2022.
Wow.
And it was so different. I entered the castle and I was like, wow.
I mean,
Finally.
when I met you at the castle, for me, you were like the owner of the castle. You know, the castle belonged to you, not you belonging to the castle. You were really like, and it was really this energy, and that showed this beauty beyond this reality as well, of like being or rather including all of this space into your life and inviting this space into your life rather than what you just said of you allowing yourself to step into this.
It can be a great invitation for everyone who will watch this, that,
Yes.
you know, like everything can be changed.
Yes.
And when I came in May, it was like much more better. Still not, let's say, the owner of the castle, but I was close to it, and I was attending the class, and there was a question like, can you imagine yourself like being the owner of the castle? And I was like, wow, I'm one step, you know,
Yeah.
like I'm one step out like from it. And not because, you know, like I became more beautiful or something, but inside of me, there was more relaxation.
Yes.
There
Yes.
was much more relaxation.
Yes.
And when I came in November, December 2022,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, finally. Now I reached the relaxation mode and zone of the castle.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting, as after it, I started to observe people who will, you know, like come into the castle. And I was like, oh, relax. just breathe in, breathe out. And it's really interesting because it's not about physique, like say physique appearance.
Yeah.
It's about totally inner part. Because like physically I did not change a lot.
Yeah.
But inside of me there were huge, like tons of change.
So were you allowing yourself to be more of you and to access all of these areas that you had been maybe hiding from? Because, I mean, I saw you when you already were the owner of the castle. You know, maybe not on paper, but definitely in energy.
I get what you're talking about. And that's a good question. You know, I definitely would say that I started to allow myself to receive more judgment.
Cool.
Because, you know, when, like, before it, I was literally building the barriers.
Right.
Please, you know, like, don't look at me from this side, or don't look for me, like, at me from this side, or please don't judge me like this or like this. And especially, you know, like, this, like, autumn 2022, it was 0 points when I reached the bottom, and I was like, wow, like, what judgment am I not ready to accept yet? Like, not, like, let's say to accept, but to allow to be in my world, like, still building the barriers. And when I looked at it, I was like, wow, I will never be able to become a perfect person who will be out of judgment.
Yeah.
The only way to be out of judgment is just to allow everything to show up.
Yeah.
good,
Totally. Oh, wow.
bad,
Thank you so much for
ugly,
that. Yes.
beautiful, like everything.
Yeah.
Just everything.
Yes.
And, like maybe the main part, not to make it, let's say, connected with me. Because
Right.
previously I was like making myself the source of everything.
Yeah.
If the person judges me, like the problem is
It's
in me.
you.
Like if there is a problem, like the problem is in me.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a question like, what if I'm not the source of problem?
Exactly.
What if I'm the source of a creation?
Exactly.
So what would I create?
Wow, what an invitation. What an invitation. So how much more of this energy of actually receiving beauty, so with no judgment, with no projections, with no expectations, are you choosing in your creations in general?
It's interesting as, like, even as you are saying this word like beauty, and it always like comes with like immediately like huge judgments, like, hey, there is a word beauty, like boom, and like the, like, let's say consciousness, or like when we're ready to be awareness. When we're ready to be aware about everything that is coming with something, or let's say with word, or if we will say, for example, word sex, and like boom, like huge parts of. And here is the same, like when I hear the word beauty, for me it's, let's say, the really tiny thing, like line that is going through it. And again, like beauty is about relaxation. So when I'm creating something, I put a lot of relaxation inside of it.
Right.
Like huge part. Because for me, when I'm looking at something, I not like trying, but I literally see the beauty.
Yes.
And previously I was judging a lot. I was judging myself. I was judging people. Like I looked at the person like, wrong shoes, like wrong manner, wrong word, like wrong, like literally I was judging the hell out of everyone.
Yeah.
I was judging. And then I was like, okay, what if I will change something? What if I will look at the person and will, like search their like super beautiful part? And not, like physical beautiful part. Oh, let's, like, let's look at you and like, let's find the best matching beauty part. No, but the thing that really, like expand the world.
Yeah.
Like, and when I'm creating something, I always look at this expansion. Like, will this product or will this something expand my world? And as a result, expand the world of everyone who, like attending this or, like dealing with this, like expansion.
Yeah.
And for me, it's the beauty. And, like not just, again, creating something perfect or something right or something correct, because a lot of people like hearing the word beauty, like, where is the beauty?
Yeah.
Or like, where is the beauty? Like, show me the beauty.
Yes.
But the beauty not only in physical part, but it also in a, let's say, energy part.
Yeah. So, yes, beauty, more of the thing of not judging, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. To get the viewers or listeners to get to know you better, where can they find more of your beauty?
More of my beauty?
Yes, in terms of your creations. That's what I meant.
Like, I do have like Russian Instagram, but it won't work for English speaking. Now I'm also, like developing English speaking Instagram. Mm-hmm. So I have at least two places where people can find me. And
I'm translating all your things, so I get...
That's funny. And by the way, talking about this like beauty thing, it was really interesting as today I put my photo before I came to their beauty salon.
Yeah.
Like, let's say with a doll and gray hair with a, like ponytail. And I was like, hey, it's before. And then it will be like after, like a beautiful part after. And a lot of people just texted me on the first photo, oh, Marina, you're so beautiful. And I was like, stop it. There will be another beautiful photo. But, like, it's kind of a joke that, like, I'm posting that doll photo and like, Marina, you're so beautiful. And it's not about, like, hair done or, like, makeup or no makeup.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with that.
Energy,
it's got nothing to do with that.
Yeah, the person just looking at it like, oh my gosh, it's so sweet puppy. And, okay, like, we also can, let's say, define, like, I can define for me, the energy of beauty, it's like the energy of a sweet puppy.
Yeah.
When, like when I want to somehow communicate with this person or, like deal with this person, like, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful and you're so cool to deal with.
Yeah.
And it's no matter what your weight, your age, like your dress or something like this. So.
Yeah, totally. Yes, and I see, I come from the fashion industry from the beginning. I've been in it for, 45 years. 40.
Ooh.
Wow. That makes me really old.
Oh, how old are you?
I'm actually turning 61 this year.
Oh my God.
My God, that makes me so old.
way.
Oh, my wrinkles. I have to go and get plastic surgery.
No, you're too young. Wait 20 years and then you can
And
go.
then I might be looking
And
into
then you
it.
can go. Oh my God.
But I had those points of views until not that long ago, until actually maybe 3-4 years ago, when the Undefining Beauty class started being created. That in the beginning was actually called Redefining Beauty, and then I went like, well, if I redefine beauty, I'm just creating more of the same shit. So I would like to look at something else. But I had this, as a fashion photographer and beauty photographer, it was really like, when you do a casting of the models, I realize now of how much of a meat market that is.
Yeah.
And I get it as well, that you're looking for certain things and certain things that match to the campaign that you need to do. It's a commercial thing and whatever. So I get that too. So now I'm using the tools to actually look at, okay, so we'll create greater and choose from that. But I was really going into, like what you said, wrong shoes, wrong belt, how can you wear your hair like that, And I'm like, wow, that's interesting.
Box,
and and getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And I also had the very interesting point of view of not wanting to go into doing portraits of people or portrait sessions, private sessions, because I was thinking, well, a private person could never afford me. My day rate is 12,000 euros a day. Who can afford me, as a private person? It's only companies that I work with. Interesting point of view. Until I changed that, and that opened up a whole universe for me of actually seeing and receiving the beauty of everybody, literally everybody that I have in front of me, like I said before, but actually seeing their projections, expectations, judgments, rejections, separations, and whatever they have of themselves, of me, of the camera, of other people, or whatever. So, all these awarenesses showed up, but it doesn't really matter what the person looks like in front of me. And that was, for me, was a revelation. So, but apart from your social media, what do you do? What's your background? Tell us more about you.
What's my background? Oh my gosh, my background is crazy because, I started as a normal person. I spent at least 8 years in economics, finance, banking, and I was trying to find myself because I was, let's say, I believed that all the money are in financial sphere. And as I always loved money, I was like, I have to be in the financial sphere, to get more money and to get more and even more money. And then, of course, it didn't work and I failed. And I was like, oh my gosh, I will never have money. And I started to search and I started to, let's say, trying to find myself and trying different occupations, different jobs. And I was a PR specialist. I had my event agency, cool. I created events. Yeah. And then suddenly I met Access and I was like, I think it's something interesting. And at one point it was kind of, two roads, one right, one left. And it was so clear that I cannot, let's say, combine it anymore because I still had my event agency. And I was like, but it's so let's say hard business. I mean, business that is understandable and normal, but Access is abnormal. And all my friends like, Marina, you're crazy. You have an event agency. Why the hell are you looking in this not defined sphere? And I was like, but I'm so curious about it. And I feel so light being there and, performing classes, etc. And I just tried. I, went out let's say, closed my part in the event industry.
Yeah.
And I totally jumped in Access, and finally I found my ocean. So
Wow.
I became a fish, like who was
Yes.
literally trying to climb the tree,
Yeah.
and like, where is my ocean? Here is the ocean, just choose the water. So, and starting from March 2019, so I, let's say, became a facilitator in the whole meaning of this word, and I started to perform a lot of classes, and for me, it was interesting, first of all, because I did it not to change anyone, but to change myself.
That is
the more classes I pass, the more classes I run, I observe how it works for me, first of all. I perform a foundation class and it changed my world. I perform another class and it changed my world. And I was like, wow, I just need to do more to change faster.
Yes.
So I spent first 2 years, no vacation, no free time. I was translating classes, I was participating in classes, I was holding classes, it was like, and only by I think, spring 2021, I started maybe I should add some vacation. But, when, at least for me, when I'm totally interested in something, I don't need vacation because I'm just
life becomes an inclusion of everything, where work is life, where play is life, where relaxation and holidays are life. And I totally get what you mean. And I also get what you mean with Access, with facilitating classes. I created the Undefining Beauty class for me, because I wanted to explore that subject, especially as a fashion photographer and beauty photographer, and now portrait photographer, and added more things. I became a car and food photographer as well. Any photographer. I'm just a photographer, and it's really this subject, this topic, this and this podcast as well is all created for me too, because it's something that obviously I'm attracted to, because for me beauty is actually receiving everything from the whole universe with no judgment. And I would like to invite more of that, since, my point of view is that we have our sweet bodies to enjoy the crap out of this planet. Let's not do that.
No way.
No way.
That's interesting, because when you were talking about your experience in beauty and fashion industry, I remember that I had a conversation with a lady who are in luxury brands PR, and she told me such a thing that, Marina, did you ever pay attention that at all luxury brand advertisement there is no smiles? There is always serious serious face and serious look, and luxury brand, and they don't connect with a smile, because it's about creating a separation. I'm super good.
The cheap brands have smiles, the luxury ones don't.
Cheap brands super smile, super kind, super friendly, and I was like, what the hell? Oh my gosh. And it's so interesting, because I was like, I don't want to go there. The conversation was, hey, if you want to sell, literally super expensive products, you have to become super serious, no smiles. Oh my gosh, I would rather kill myself, than stop smiling. And I was like, wow, a lot of people who literally look at the advertising, they're like, oh, a lot of money, it's dull. A lot of money, it's boring, because look at their faces, they're all boring. And it's not true.
So is there anything else that you would like to share on this subject, or anything else?
Anything else? For me, again, beauty is all about the perception, and that's let's say that's the good part and that's the bad part at the same time.
Yes.
Because, for example, when we try to change something physical, it's easy. If there is a box, we can just put the box at the other side. But when we're talking about something that we cannot touch, we cannot grab, or we cannot, put at the other place, it's kind of seems to be difficult. Marina, how can I change my perception, or my feeling about myself, or my perception about myself? But it's in a eye blink, like
Yeah.
boom, and you already changed it. And at the same time, it became a zone of, let's say, unchangeable thing because I cannot touch it. So I don't understand or I don't realize how I can change it. And usually what I suggest to do, literally to spend more time with the animals, with their nature, with the trees, and ask them,
Yes.
hey, nature, hey, animal, just show me.
Yeah.
Or usually, I advise people to pretend that they're a puppy. Because right now I have a puppy and oh my gosh.
Oh, you have a puppy now?
Yes, I
Oh
have
my
a
God.
puppy.
Oh my God.
And this puppy facilitates me a lot because it's such adorable piece.
Wow.
And he's
What race
always,
is it?
It's a poodle,
Oh, wow,
toy
yeah.
poodle.
Toy poodle, yeah.
And he's so happy every time. And he's so, curious, let's go there. Oh, let's go there. And
that's how we are.
Yeah,
Initially, that's how we are.
Initially, our, let's say, being curious, ready to play, ready to explore, and ready to be this, let's say, kind of something that is really ready to receive.
Yes.
Because
exactly.
I adore this cute puppy, oh my gosh, to the moon and back, and I always provide the best I can provide to him.
I know exactly what you mean.
And it's the same with the people. There are some people to whom you are ready to provide everything.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you're such a cute puppy, take it. And not because this person is beautiful or right weight or something like this, but just the energy.
Yes.
The energy of hey, let's play, hey, let's explore, hey, let's be I don't know, let's go there. And just be out of judgment because dogs are not judging. They're
not.
just
and babies are not judging either.
Yeah.
When we're babies or young kids and we want to play, we want to run, we want to do these things, we're not scared, we're just excited.
Yeah.
So
every time, for example, I look at their tiny child who communicate with his or her mother and mommy, you're the most beautiful person in the world. Yeah. And they literally see their mommy or their daddy the most beautiful, the most kind, the most cool person in the world.
Yeah.
And it's not about the physics.
No,
it's
not
about something.
It's not.
It's about the connection. So I'm always inviting people to create this connection with nature, to create connection with everything they have around, to literally to play with this energy, how it is to receive from everything.
God, imagine the world what it would be like if more people were choosing that with themselves and with each other and with nature and with everything that shows up in their lives. It would be completely different, right?
It would be a lot of puppies.
A lot of playing puppies. Way too much fun.
Oh my gosh. Too much fun. Oh my gosh. What would it require?
What are we doing here? We're destroying this planet. No, we're not.
Oh my gosh. So fun.
Wow, thank you so much. So we will put links to your social media down here, whichever camera's still working.
We're running all three.
All three. And if it's just the audio, then it'll be under the audio file.
Yeah.
And yes, well, thank you so much for playing. Thank you so much for coming to the playground and being the puppy.
Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. So everybody else, thank you for listening or watching or being here.
Or your comments, if you will leave
them. Or your comments. Please leave comments. And thank you so much and see you the next time.
See you.